Slowly, left side, Buxton flying down the line, he beat it!
Welcome to the SKOL Joel Twins post-game show. Ladies and gentlemen, you sure saw that right. We have a new intro. We got the new branding. Don't have the background music yet, but I also got an outro to unleash later. Welcome back to night 3 of the SKOL Joel Twins post-game show. I'm your host, SKOL Joel, of course, like it just said. Twins took a victory tonight, 6-3 against the Seattle Mariners. They've now won 2 out of 3 in Seattle so far. They are playing their final game tomorrow at 2:40 p.m. Central Time. I'll talk more about it at the end of the stream here, but I will not be having a live tomorrow, and I probably won't for at least another week, but I'll get more into that later. So with that said, I just realized I didn't even put the banner up. There it is. Now you can see what show you're watching. So with that said, I think I'm going to get into it here. Again, I got 6 points since the Twins scored 6 runs tonight. So I did kind of, unlike last night when they scored 10, I did actually kind of order them in order of what I thought was kind of most important to least important, but it's not necessarily the case. Judge it based on however you want. But before we get into the 6, I'll give a brief snapshot of the Twins. They're now 50-47 on the season with their win. They've now won 2 in a row here over Seattle. The Seattle Mariners were 47-47. They're dropping to 47-48 following this game. The Cleveland Guardians lost to the Pittsburgh Pirates tonight, moving the Twins' lead in the division back up to 2.5 games again. So with that said, like I said, the Twins close out the series tomorrow with their 4th and final game in Seattle. It will be, I believe, Pablo Lopez against George Kirby, if I remember correctly. So with that said, we're going to get into the 6 main takeaways that I had as I watched the game tonight. First one, and most important, I felt the happiness watching Kenta Maeda pitch tonight. He had an outstanding night again. It was unfortunate that the game was tied again, but I'll get into that in a little bit here. Kenta Maeda tonight went 6.1 innings, gave up 2 earned runs on 3 hits through 80 pitches. I was hoping he'd stay out there. During the 7th inning was when he got taken out. In fact, his pitch count was only at 80, like I just said. In the first inning, he threw 10. Second inning, he threw 10. Then it was 8, 13, 12, 14, and then he had 13 pitches when he was taken out in the 7th inning. He was pitching absolutely outstanding. Of course, I have the score sheet back at it again as I was taking notes during the game. Kenta only gave up, 3 hits the whole night. One of them was the home run that he gave up to, let me find it on here. Where'd it go? Oh, right there it is. The Tom Murphy home run that made it 3-1 at the time. Twins were up 3-0. That made it 3-1. That was just the second hit of the game after he gave up the leadoff hit to J.P. Crawford in the first on just the second pitch of the bottom half of the first inning. His third hit came in the 7th inning. He gave up a single to Jared Kelenic, who then came around to score eventually on the home run given up by Griffin Jax, which I'll get into more as we continue later. But overall, Kenta Maeda just simply had an outstanding night tonight. He is now 2-5 on the season, heading into the night. It was a no decision tonight. He's 2-5 with an ERA of 5.50, whip of 1.39, 36 innings pitched heading into this. So that'll move him up to 42.1. But no decision again, like I said. Luis Castillo, on the other hand, I'll get a little more into him later. He is 6-7 now. Another no decision for him as well. 2.96 ERA heading into the night, a whip of 1.03, and 112 innings pitched. Those were all heading into the night. But overall, I just think Kenta Maeda did an outstanding job pitching tonight. He had a tough time Friday night when he was in Oakland, gave up, he only pitched 3 innings, gave up 80 pitches during those 3 innings, but pitched outstanding tonight, 80 pitches, and that was in 6.1. So pitched a lot better. Loved watching him. He did an outstanding job. I also wrote down he had 9 strikeouts tonight when he was pitching. So overall, outstanding night from him. And as far as Jax, I'll get a little more into that in a little bit. The second main point that I had tonight, the Twins trio cannot be stopped. Yes, I am talking about Eddie Julien. I'm talking about Alex Kirilloff and Max Kepler. They have all been hitting really, really well as of late. Tonight, Eddie Julien had 4 appearances, I believe, at the plate. Yes, he had 4 appearances at the plate. before he was taken out. In the first inning, he led, I shouldn't say led off, but he had a full count walk in the first inning, stranded on first base. In the third inning, he hit a single on a 1-1 count. In the fifth inning, then he hit a solo home run, also on a 1-1 count. In the seventh inning, then he walked on full count yet again. So he reached all 4 times before Michael A. Taylor came in and pinch ran for Eddie Julien. But overall, outstanding night. Again, he had 2 hits, also had 2 walks. Like I said, reached base all 4 times, including a home run. In fact, I was listening to the radio broadcast while also watching the TV one at the same time. They had some great different things that they said in it. One of the things that they said was Eddie Julien now has 13 hits in his past 6 games. In July, he leads the MLB in batting average with .516 and an OPS with a 1.559 OPS on the year. He's also tied for the most home runs in the American League in July with 5 home runs over this stretch. He's had 17 hits in his past 10 games, including 5 home runs, like I just said. Overall, Eddie Julien has just simply been hitting outstanding at the plate. I was watching SKOL North today. If you don't know, I'm a big SKOL North fan. And on the SKOL North Twins show today, they exercised an idea that made a lot of sense. Judd did. And it was that I think what they could be doing is they're waiting for Jorge Polanco to come back. When Polanco comes back, they bring him to the active roster, and in the corresponding move, they send Byron Buxton to the IL just to give him some time off. He may be healthy. He's probably not really healthy. We've seen him this whole season. But they're probably going to give Byron Buxton just time off to think about it and reset, as he has not been hitting well at the plate lately. I shared some information in last night about his hitting. I'm not going to do it again since I did last night. But he's just simply not been hitting well. So it would make sense if they bring Polo back, send Buck to the IL, and then with that, they replace at second base Julien with Polo, and then Julien moves to the DH position. Since Julien's not a great fielder, like I've said, almost had another throwaway kind of tonight through a routine play about 90 miles per hour to Kirilloff at first, but it's pretty unnecessary. But he's just a great hitter, though. There's no way they can sit him with how well he's been hitting lately. So, and as far as the rest of the trio is concerned, I was also talking about Alex Kirilloff. Kirilloff didn't have a great night overall tonight. Struck out his first 4 plate appearances in the first, third, 5th, and 7th innings before he hit a 2-run home run that also scored Michael A. Taylor in the 9th inning as well, to make the lead from 4-3 up to 6-3, so he helped give him some insurance. He was not hitting well, like I said, in the game up until the 9th inning when he hit his home run, but I also have last night's score sheet still with me. In fact, it honestly almost looks the exact same. But last night, Kirilloff had a walk, he had a home run, he had a triple, that is accurate, struck out, and then also had a single. So, outstanding. Kirilloff has been playing really, really well as of late. I might have wrote down a note. No, I didn't. They said something on the radio, but I wasn't able to write it down in time. So Alex Kirilloff overall, just a natural hitter. Again, I was talking about him a lot last night. I just love watching Alex Kirilloff hit. He is just such a good natural hitter. Love watching his swing, and I love watching the way he hits the ball. He hits it hard. And again, second home run in 2 nights was tonight. So, and the third member of that trio that I was talking about is Max Kepler. Kepler cooled off a bit tonight, but overall still has been hitting very, very well. Actually, I shouldn't even say cooled off, as he did hit a home run as well. Kepler in the first inning grounded out to short. In the 3rd inning, he struck out swinging. In the 5th inning, he hit a big solo home run 2 batters after Eddie Julien hit his solo home run. So that made the lead 3-0 at the time. Before Kepler then in the 8th inning had a single before he came around to score on the passed ball, which gave the Twins the lead. Would have been 4-3 at the time. He also came up again in the 9th inning and grounded out to first base, which would have been Ty France. Last night, I'll also read it off. He had another great night at the plate. He had a sac fly in the 1st inning, walked and scored in the 3rd. He hit a double in the 4th. hit a single in the 6th, and then flew out to left in the 8th as well. So overall, Kepler's just simply been hitting really, really, really well as of late. I know I've talked a lot of trash about Max Kepler, but he has actually been hitting really well as of late, and I do appreciate it. Great fielder, too. I do love watching him in the field. But right now, you can't put Byron Buxton in 1, 2, 3, or 4. It's just a fact. He has to go toward the bottom of the lineup, in my opinion. He swings and misses. He strikes out too much. He's been in such a bad slump lately. Correa's been hitting well leadoff. In fact, at the beginning of the game, they said in his past 14 games, he's been playing the leadoff in 14 games now, I should say. Make it 15 tonight. But heading into the night, he'd been batting .339 in the leadoff spot with a .413 on base percentage. And heading into tonight's game, he'd reached base at least once in all 14 games. Tonight was the 15th. He was not able to reach base. He went 0 for 5. But Correa's still been hitting so well out of the leadoff spot, I think. Julian's been hitting great second. Again, Kirilloff has been hitting well. Kepler's been hitting well. You just can't put him in the top 4 there. And even if you have, I think Donovan Solano could be 5th. But there's no spot for Buxton in that top 5 for me. You have to put him toward the bottom of the lineup. Joey Gallo's a vet, and he still plays at the bottom of the lineup. He routinely plays 8th for the most part, pretty much every night. And I have thoughts on Gallo, but I'm going to save that for the end in the bonus thoughts. But yeah, Twins trio has been doing an outstanding job now over the past week plus now. Really, since the All-Star break, they've all been hitting really well. My third point is way to reverse the script. So I will say this applies to the bottom of the 7th inning into the top of the 8th is what I'm talking about here. I talked last night about how Bailey Ober got off to such a tough start in the game. He gave up 3 runs on 6 hits in the first inning before he rebounded huge. But in that first inning, I got a bit nervous that Bailey Ober was not going to have a good night. Mariners were just going to get a bunch of hits, and the Twins were unable to maintain the 2-0 lead they had because then the Mariners took over 3-2. That would have been in last night's game. But tonight's game, they really reversed the script. Again, like I said, I'm always nervous when the Twins get a lead since to me, one of the themes I've noticed this season is they have a tough time maintaining the lead as they can't keep momentum on their side. But tonight, they did a really good job of bouncing back, especially in the 7th inning. For the bottom of the 7th inning for the Seattle Mariners, when Eugenio Suarez hit the game-tying home run that made it 3-1, made it 3-3 in the 7th inning. But then right after that, in the 8th inning, the Twins came out there. Kepler started it off with a single in the 8th inning before Matt Wallner lined out to center. Willie Castro hit a single before he made it all the way around to third base. Farmer struck out swinging on 3 pitches. Donovan Solano came in to pinch hit for Gallo, which is huge. Gallo should not have been batting. Shouldn't have even been a thought in their mind for Gallo to bat in that position. He hit a single, No, he walked. Excuse me. I wrote it wrong on my sheet. He walked on a 3-1 count. And then Jeffers proceeded to walk as well before Carlos Correa grounded out to shortstop. But I just applaud them in the way they were able to bounce back in the 8th inning. They gave up 2 runs on the home run from Jax, and then they were able to go out there, get runners on base, and score and retake the lead. And then in the 9th inning, they were able to carry the momentum in as well, as they were able to get the 2 runs off the Kirilloff home run. So I just thought it was huge that they were able to contradict what I normally worry about with the team. The 4th point I had is opponents' pitch counts have been rising early, especially in the Seattle series. I've been watching all 3 games so far now. They did a good job of it on Monday night. They did a good job last night, and they did a good job again tonight. Again, Luis Castillo was the pitcher heading into the night. He was 6-7 with an ERA of 2.96, whip of 1.03 on the year, and 112 innings pitched. So he's a very good player, acquired at the trade deadline last year from Cincinnati for Seattle. But tonight, he pitched 6 innings, gave up 3 earned runs on 6 hits. But the key is 6 innings, he threw 104 pitches. So Twins were really able to draw out the counts. They were able to get 2 strike foul balls. They were able to get hits again. Like I said, they got 6 hits in 6 innings, which, again, you always could have got more, but I just think they did a great job watching pitches, getting contact, being able to draw out the count, because yeah, I mean, the stats say it themselves, 104 pitches in 6 innings against Luis Castillo. So I think they did a great job of doing that. And that was also a theme I noticed Monday, last night, tonight as well, is that they were able to get to the starting pitchers and really drive up the pitch counts. They did that as well with the relievers too over the past few nights too, even though I haven't been counting pitches of relievers. I only do that for the starters. The fifth note I had in the second to last one was strikeouts were an issue yet again for this team. In fact, tonight the Twins struck out 13 times. 11 of them were swinging strikeouts. They also had 2 strikeouts looking as well. In fact, I mean, I'll just go through it here. Let's just go through their lineup and look at who all struck out. Carlos Correa struck out once. Kirilloff had 4 swinging strikeouts. Again, brutal night until the 9th inning when he hit the home run, like I mentioned earlier. Max Kepler also had a strikeout. Matt Wallner had a strikeout. Castro had a strikeout. Farmer had a strikeout. Gallo had 3 strikeouts, and I have thoughts again, like I said, on him later. Jeffers also struck out twice. So that's every batter but Julien that was in the starting lineup. Every batter had a strikeout in the starting lineup tonight except for Eddie Julien. And then, of course, Solano came in, Taylor came in, but neither of them struck out. But yeah, just brutal. 13 strikeouts, 11 of them swinging. I applauded them last night in the postgame show about how they were doing a good job at watching pitches and making contact, since they didn't, it felt like to me, swing and miss a whole lot and they didn't strike out a whole lot. But tonight was a pretty brutal night. And obviously they're going to break the strikeout record, but I just think it's something they have to work on is contact. That was, I think, why they scored 10 runs last night, is they did such a good job of making contact with the ball, putting the ball in play, letting the runners run the bases instead of just striking out where nobody moves, which is the big problem I have. Can't stand strikeouts. And that's going to close us out with our 6th and final main point that I had for tonight's game. Twins had difficulty from some of their top relievers. So like I said, I was going to talk about Griffin Jax, and I sure am right now. So I'll bring you all up to speed. It was the 7th inning, bottom half of the 7th inning. Kenta Maeda had 1 out. The first batter was Julio Rodriguez. On full count, he grounded out to short. Then Jared Kelenic came up. He drew the count to 2-2 before he hit a single. Then Rocco Baldelli came out, decided to activate the bullpen, took Kenta out of the game, brought in Griffin Jax for Eugenio Suarez. And then on a 1-2 count, Eugenio Suarez launched a 2-run home run to tie the game in the 7th inning. Following that, Mike Ford struck out, and then Teoscar Hernandez bounced to short for the 3rd out of the inning. But overall, Griffin Jax has been automatic this season. In fact, they said on the radio broadcast, heading into tonight's game, he'd pitched 19.1 consecutive scoreless innings. Also, that was the first home run off of Griffin Jax this season, in his 42nd appearance out on the mound was tonight. So he's been pitching super well this season. He's my 2nd favorite pitcher for the Twins. Bullpen pitcher, I should specifically say, for the Twins outside of Jhoan Duran. And now I'm going to talk about Jhoan Duran. He had a little bit of difficulty too, but it wasn't all completely his fault. He came in for the 9th inning with the Twins up 6-3 at the time. J.P. Crawford was the first batter on a 1-0 count. He hit a single, eventually made it to third base. Julio Rodriguez came in on an 0-2 count. He hit Julio Rodriguez in the hand, if I remember correctly. Somewhere in the arm hand, if I remember. So that put runners on first and second with no outs. Jared Kelenic came up. He struck out looking on a 2-2 count. That was a huge strikeout. Eugenio Suarez came up, grounded to short on an 0-2 count. So then 2 outs, runners on first and second then. Or no, I should say 2 outs. That moved the ground out to short, moved the runners to second and third. So now 2 outs, runners on second and third, and then Mike Ford came in, and on an 0-2 count, he struck out swinging. So big rebounding from Jhoan Duran. The hit by pitch was obviously brutal because that put 2 runners on base then with no outs. The first batter to reach base was Crawford, like I said, on a single. It was counted as a single. I could have almost thought it was an error on Kirilloff. That's how I initially scored it when I was writing it down. They said on the radio it was going to be a single. But yeah, it seemed to me like an error, but they did give him the hit. So that I'm not going to fault Duran at all for that play. To me, that was Kirilloff's bad that happened, but he had a bit of difficulty, but he was able to work through it. So he did do a good job rebounding, even though he did not start strong. But with that said, those were my 6 main points. I'll throw it back to the original banner that I have here. The only really bonus note I have as I kind of read through the rest of my sheet, the other final notes I have is that the main other takeaway that I didn't include in the main 6 was Joey Gallo. Gallo heading into the night is batting 185. He hit a home run last night. Or no, that was 2 nights ago. Yeah, he hit a home run Monday. And tonight, let's just look at Gallo's stat line. He hit 3 times before he was pinch hit for by Donovan Solano in the 8th inning. Smart move. Gallo struck out on full count swinging in the 2nd, struck out on a 2-2 count in the 4th inning swinging. On a 1-2 count, he struck out swinging in the 6th inning. So absolutely brutal. I just can't watch Joey Gallo. He swings and misses. He's like Byron Buxton. I just can't do it with him. I think they need to replace Gallo. I would love to see Gallo get replaced by Trevor Larnach. I think that's what needs to happen, is Trevor Larnach needs to come in. Younger player, not super young, but he's definitely a younger player than Gallo is, and he makes a lot more contact, and I would definitely prefer to see Trevor Larnach in the lineup over Gallo. So, yeah. Gallo to me also doesn't provide a whole lot of extra in the field. He's definitely a good outfielder, but at the plate, he's atrocious, and he does hit a home run every so often, but I don't care. I'd rather make contact, like I said last night. That's why they scored 10 runs. Move players on the base paths and stuff like that. So I think an intervention needs to happen with Gallo, just like an intervention is currently, I think, happening with Byron Buxton right now. They need to do something with Gallo, whether it's maybe it's even just straight up cutting him. He doesn't provide the value for me that we were hoping he would provide. He does hit a home run, of course, like I said, every so often, but it's not enough for me to say he deserves to be in the lineup every day. I think they need to replace Joey Gallo. So with that said, that is honestly my last bonus thought I had for you. Again, we can run through him again. Kenta Maeda is back at it again. Outstanding night, I thought, from him. Gave up two runs. One wasn't his. I mean, it was his fault since he allowed the base runner, but then Griffin Jacks gave up the home run. So the run is going to be charged to Kenta. The trio of Julian, Kirilloff, Kepler has been playing outstanding, especially Julian again tonight for the 3rd night in a row that have been praising him. They were able to keep energy on their side, able to keep the momentum, which I definitely applaud, as I was nervous last night. They were able to flip the script. That's always the one big worry I have with the team, is that they can't maintain momentum. They did a great job of flipping it and getting momentum after squandering the lead in the 7th inning. The 4th point again that I had was that Twins did a good job hitting off Castillo. They were able to draw out the count. They were able to make contact on 2 strikes. They were able to rise his pitch count, like I said, 104 pitches in 6 innings. Again, as I briefly run through them again, the 5th takeaway that I had was the strikeouts were an issue. 13 strikeouts. 11 of them were looking, 2 of them were swinging, 4 of them were Kirilloff, but I don't have any problem with it. Kirilloff is still an outstanding player, so I'm not going to fault Kirilloff at all, but I am going to fault Joey Gallo, who had 3 strikeouts. Can't watch Joey Gallo. I just kind of went on a rant about him about a minute ago. And again, the final point I had was some difficulty from Griffin Jacks tonight, but also Duran a little bit too. Although the first runner, JP Crawford, was not his fault that he reached base. He did a good job of getting out of the jam. He was in with 2 on and nobody out. So with that said, I'll throw up the graphic again, and that is going to do it for the show tonight. Again, the filming update I was going to provide you guys was that there will not be a post-game show tomorrow. Twins close out the series tomorrow in Seattle with their 4th game of the 4-game set, I should have said, excuse me. At 2:40 p.m. Central Time, I will not be having a live stream after the game, as I do have to work, and that will be overlapping. So to work in the evening, so I will not be able to make a post game, but I will be watching the beginning of the game. Maybe I'll tweet out my thoughts. Follow my Twitter. If you don't know where my Twitter is, go to my channel description. It's listed in there. Otherwise, I think that pretty much does it tonight. Oh, I was going to say one more thing. So like I said, I will not be having a stream tomorrow. Friday, I will not be either, as I'll be gone camping. Saturday, I probably won't be either, as I'll be hanging out with some people. And then Sunday, I'm leaving for a week in Colorado on a mission trip. And I'm going to be gone for a whole week, Sunday to the following Saturday, which would be July 29th. So there will not be any post-game shows probably for at least a week and a half now. And then we'll see about after that. Otherwise, that's going to do it. Thanks for watching. Kind of surprised I got 3 nights in a row in, but I sure did. But you're going to have to enjoy those 3 nights since there won't be another one for probably 10 days now, maybe. But we will see. That is going to do it. Let me fire up the brand new outro. I will see you guys. It won't be for a while, but I will see you guys again at some point. Thanks for watching. Have a good night, everybody. And go Twins. I'm wearing a Twins shirt tonight, too. So it's the old logo. New logo does look way better. But that's going to do it. Have a good night, everybody. Hold on. I got to throw down the banner. There we go. Now I can throw up the outro. Have a good night, everybody.